All right. Simulcast 18. I'm here with always Big Shrimp. Big Shrimp, what's going on, man?
What it do, man? What it do?
I think we start these simulcasts the same way every time. We need to find a new
Yeah, I
system.
think we do. Well, you could do what Brian Last does and say, "Hello, friends. You are our friends." Or Jim Cornette starts out here with what's it call him? The um, something chateau. Anyways, forget all that. What's going on, dude?
What's going on, man? Um, we're here. We were gonna do the
Irritated. I'm irritated.
yeah.
One of the one of our fellow shrimpers in the shrimp crew been a butthole, been ignoring every freaking thing I put in the crew, but obviously looks at all of it and then comes at us with a question that only I can answer, me or Jared. Uh, so she wants my attention, wants me to answer a question, but ignore every damn thing I've been putting in there for the last week. She can go piss up a rope as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, what what's going on, y'all? What's going on, Hodge?
This was supposed to be the I ask you 10 questions because not last week,
Yeah.
but the week before was you ask me, and we've just been so busy. Like
Yeah,
that's
but that
what
was the last episode.
that was the
That was
last
the last
episode. Yeah,
simulcast.
because we were so busy last week we couldn't do it, and then this week I was like, look,
Yeah.
we got to do one today to be up by Wednesday, and I don't even have your questions written out. And so we were planning on recording then
Yeah. So we're
that
gonna do
one
that next week.
tomorrow. Yeah, and so this was going up this week, and then next week will be the questions. It would just be a little like a small pivot right there between the questions. So
Yeah. Uh, because you and I both had a very interesting week this past week.
mm-hmm.
So I thought we should share our stories.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you can share about yours, but I got a lot I can share about mine. So, by the way, this podcast episode brought to you by my new shirt, straight out of Nashville. Not really, but I'm really digging this shirt. I saw it. I was on the phone with my mom, and I just started geeking out, and she didn't understand. I'm like, look, I'm in Walmart, and there's a shirt that says straight out of Nashville. My mom knows nothing about straight out of Compton or the NWA, so she didn't get it. I said, you won't understand, but I got to have this shirt. So,
Those were big for a while. Those type of shirts like that. They made them for
yeah.
every state, every city in every state, every goddamn county in every city in every state. They made one
Oh, I
for
know.
everything.
I know.
So we also took a dipper from the top 10. I knew we were going to do top 10 for 10 weeks, but that was out the window kind of quickly because after everything else, can you name 10 of anything other than what we've already covered? I was like, well, there's habits and then there's this and this. And I'm like, well, I don't have 10 habits, I don't think. And then it went to books and I'm like, well, that's kind of boring. Talk about 10 favorite books. That's kind of boring. Stuff people talk about every day on the podcast. You don't want to reiterate that into a simulcast that they've already heard. So it's like, man. So yeah, we're going back to our roots right now. Not saying we're not going to hit the top 10 here in a couple of weeks, but right now um, we're just going to do the regular old simulcast stuff. We know two things we're going to talk about. That's it. The rest is just going to be off the head.
Yeah, off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting from the hip. BSing.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the first thing I want to talk about is Fuller House. It's it's interesting that a lot of the shows that were popular in the '90s are getting reboots of some sort.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a while. Even Boy Meets World had Girl Meets World, which I didn't feel like lived up to the hype.
Nope.
Um, The new Saved by the Bell, I'm really digging.
Oh,
The
you started
Connors,
it?
I'm obsessed with.
You started
I
Saved by the
have,
Bell?
yeah. I have, yeah. And the Connors, I'm obsessed with. And by the way, speaking of Saved by the Bell, as we record this, our thoughts
Yeah.
and our prayers are going out to Dustin Diamond and his family. Hopefully, he can recover quickly and beat cancer. Um, but yeah, a lot of these shows have done well, but Fuller House, I thought it was what it was. It was
Mhm.
cheesy, it was goofy. I enjoyed it. Didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. I know it took you forever to jump on a bandwagon, and
It took
once you finally did,
yeah.
you started watching season one, and you loved it. As a matter of fact, you texted me and said, "Bruh, I'm crying at the nostalgia."
Yeah.
But as you would learn to see, the nostalgia was a bit too much, and it kind of ruined it for you.
Dude, let me tell you. I didn't watch it because for one, Full House is
Well,
easy.
you did watch it. You mean you didn't
Heck,
finish it?
no, I didn't start it. What I meant, I didn't start it when it first started. I didn't watch it when it first started
Okay.
for a number of reasons. One, people were telling me it wasn't good. Two, and the most main reason, Full House is my top 5 favorite show of all time. I mean, that was my favorite show growing up when I was, in elementary school, and then it was just like you said, nostalgic for me and so precious to me that I couldn't see it ruined. That's like a lot of sequels to movies. They wind up doing them 20 years later, and it's not even close to what it could have been if it was put out 2 years after. But
Mhm.
so I remember I started the show and I cried the first episode because, like you said, they got together and they sang forever, and it was beautiful. And then after the first season went off, I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be fantastic. These people that are talking about the show sucks can go climb up a tree. This show is great. Well, season 2 came. In the middle of season 2, I kind of did that type of thing where I was like, man, I got to go watch another episode. And then it kind of built back up towards the end of season 2. And then, man, I started season 3. I got a few episodes in and I said, you know what? It's not worth it. I can't. I can't. It, because what they didn't show you was, or tell you about, was it was not going to have all the Danny, Joey, Jesse, Rebecca. It wasn't going to have any of them, way they were talking. It was going to feature everybody every episode. And then they come and they surprise us. No, it's going to happen this way. And also another thing about it was DJ's 3 kids. Okay, let fate have it. She had 3 boys instead of 3 girls. Who cares, right? But they were the same exact age as they were when they were little when they lost their mother. The boys are the same age when they lost their father as DJ and Stephanie were when they lost their mother. Now,
Yeah, but Michelle was a newborn though.
but so was what was his
Michelle was a
name?
toddler,
No,
huh?
no, no. Michelle was like a few months old because there was earlier episodes where she was the same age as, I looked it up. Tommy is the baby's name in this one. She she was the
Oh, that's right. I
they're
was
like
thinking Max was the baby, but no,
no,
Tommy.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're like 3 or 4 months old in the show, and
yeah,
they're the
that's right.
exact
That's
same
right.
age. And I'm like, okay, you can give me she had all boys. You can give that to me. I'm not gonna. But you break it down. You tell me she had all 3 boys, the exact same age as they were growing up when they lost their mom, they lost their dad. That's
Oh,
a
dude, that's minor. That's minor.
no.
That's
That
not a. That's
okay.
not a.
You want a major? I'll give you a major. You're only allowed 2 stupid people, stupid characters in a show. Dude, this show,
Who wrote this rule?
I mean, it's kind of behind the curtain. You don't really need more than 2 major characters. I'm not talking about little minor characters because you brought up the whatever. that guy. You brought him up, and I was like, yeah, but that was just a minor.
Dwayne.
Dwayne. That was just a minor character. So let's break down Fuller House. Let's break it down. Okay, first let's go to Full House. Let's break down Full House's dumb characters. For a while there, Joey was a dummy, right? Then somewhere in the middle of the show, they made him act like a grown up. For some reason that they never said. Kimmy was a dodo, and Steve was a dodo. They were the main characters. 3.
I don't think so. I think Steve is just a jock. He's not a dodo. He's just a meathead, a jock.
Okay, but it's still kind of dumb. He's still kind of dumb. Okay, that's 3 major. But you can count Steve because he was there between seasons. I think he was there 4 or 5 through like 7 or 8, something like that, if I'm remembering right. Now, we're going down to nitty gritty. Now we got Fuller House. We've got DJ's oldest kid. We got Kimmy. We got Stephanie. For some reason, she just went off and got stupid because she was smart in Full House. I guess those drugs did Jodie Sweetin some harm and made her character dumb. Okay.
She's
Then you
freaking
had,
hot, though. I don't care what you say.
Then you have Steve. He's still the same meathead dodo. You then had Kimmy's husband. That makes 5 in one season.
I don't think he was dumb. He's a foreigner, dude. He's not dumb.
He's dumb. He is dumb. That's 5. That is 5 in one season.
Oh my god.
And then the jokes are so corny, dude. The jokes are so bad.
Obviously, living down in deep Mississippi, you've not met very many foreigners. Look, I can tell
there's
you
so
that.
many foreigners here.
I met a lot of foreigners, and because of language barriers and whatever, I've heard a lot of bad jokes from different ethnic groups. And before anybody calls me racist or prejudiced, you know, fuck yourself. I'm half Lao.
Okay.
So there you go.
Fine. Anyways, if you're gonna use that,
but listen, my favorite, and I thought he was. I'll be honest with you, he was my favorite character on the whole show.
No.
I thought he was hilarious. I thought he was clever. I thought the Carolina Moore song was hilarious. I loved how he told Stephanie, "You have to feed my lyrics." I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, he was my favorite character.
Fine. Well, his name is what? Fernando. Take out Fernando. Just if you're gonna pull that, take him out. That's still 4 people. That's 4 people in one season. Sure, but everybody can have dumb moments. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about people that are dumb throughout the whole show. And you can't have that in a show. And I think that's where it failed because I can't give my honest feedback on it because I didn't finish it. And I will not finish it. It's terrible.
Well,
they're talking about
because
they want to bring back another.
They do a triple wedding.
I don't really. I mean, I guess I do care, but
it's beautiful.
I understand what happened because I looked it up already. What happens? I realized that DJ got with Steve and Stephanie becomes. Oh, Stephanie's boyfriend, Kimmy's brother, is another stupid one. That's 6. That is 6 people, dude. 6
All right,
people.
Man.
Anyways,
I'll give it to you.
There was a lot. Now, if you're gonna take that, I've already looked at what happens. I know they have a triple. DJ gets with Steve, which is what I think. Okay,
I'll be honest. I didn't watch season 5 for whatever reason. I never got into it, so I just know that I had a triple wedding because I saw it on a thing yeah. But I'm gonna say this real quick, because it's my last thought. I'll let you have the rest. From what I'd read from film critics and TV critics, they think if this show would have done what the Connors did and not relied so much on the past, that it would have thrived and actually done well.
There you go.
But because they relied too much on the past, I didn't know any character evolve.
Yeah,
and get with the times, it flunked, it failed.
yes, it was because I don't watch the Connors, but I've watched episodes and I know you can go in there as you're not a Roseanne fan, just catch it casually and understand exactly what's happening, right? But
Yeah,
in this case, you have to know who each character is from Full House in order to understand it. Like they bring back, like, for example, Gia. You don't realize that all this beef has occurred and then they still hate each other. But if you go in there watching, but for like me and my family, we watched every episode of Full House a dozen times, so we know who GA is and what's happened. But if I'm looking at a normal person that's like Fuller House, don't know what this is, let's check it out. You're gonna be like, wait, why do they have this beef? Why do they keep referring to 1990? But I
yeah.
agree 100%. It's like if they would have done what the Connors is doing now, then I may can sit through it. I may can stomach it. But I don't watch the Connors for certain reasons, just because I'm confused on the whole aspect of it. So, dude, I was such a big Roseanne
They
fan, man.
explain that.
I was a Roseanne fan. I've seen every episode of Roseanne. Basically, the Full House era of TV 90s, I've seen. Like, I've seen every episode of, I'm not even going to name them, but Roseanne is one of I've seen every episode of multiple times. Big fan of Roseanne, one of my top 10 shows. So once I heard that they were bringing it back, I was kind of excited. And then they showed the trailer to the new Roseanne show. And I was like, wait, there's Dan. So how are they going to take this and morph it in with
They
Roseanne?
explain that too.
Because hang on. This is my thoughts at the time of seeing the trailer.
I had the same thought.
At the end of the original Roseanne, she's writing a
Yeah.
book, and when Dan had that heart attack earlier, a couple seasons back, he had died, and she imagined everything. Now, I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes of Roseanne and loved it. It was just like the original Roseanne. They said that she was writing a book, and she lied about the whole thing, about Dan dying and stuff like that. They explained that, right? But then Roseanne gets stupid and gets racist on Twitter, what have you. Cancel Roseanne. They're like, we're going to continue to go
By the way,
with.
that was the highest rated show on cable.
Dude, it was.
That
I'm
blows
telling
my
you,
mind.
it was great. The spinoff of Roseanne, the reboot, was great. It was just like I was watching Roseanne, and I loved it. And then, like I said, Roseanne does this stuff on Twitter, and then they cancel Roseanne. They're like, hey, but we're going to continue with it, and we're going to call it The Connors. Like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. They kill Roseanne off of The Connors, and I am so confused.
How can they explain? How can they explain her not being there?
They got divorced.
They explain her not being on her
show. They got divorced.
No, they could still show. She would still come back and
no. There was a
involvement with the kids or whatever.
Okay, let me explain how they could have done this. If they were going to use the fact that Dan and Roseanne divorced, they're coming to get DJ. Yeah. They're coming to get all these people, right? Wait, DJ. Yeah, that's right, DJ. They've got the boy's name DJ. They can easily have it focus on Dan specifically. For some reason, Roseanne's sister keeps coming in the house back and forth. Roseanne doesn't want to see Dan. Dan doesn't want to see Roseanne. So when she has something to do with the kids, it's easily going to be separated. They can mention, I'm going over to mom's house. I'm going over here. I'm going over there. I got to meet mom at the mall. Won't you drop me off, Dad? Easily. And never used Roseanne. Easily.
Yeah, but
people would have been.
But people would have been. It wouldn't be satisfying. Never getting to see her. I understand there would always be the what if. Just like right now, in the WWE, to this day, the fans still chant CM Punk, hoping that SOB is going to come back because they know he's out there somewhere. And if they were to do that until the show ended, and in the series finale, people would be hoping and waiting and wishing and begging for one scene with Roseanne. And when the show didn't deliver, everybody would shit on the finale and say, boo, just like they did when they found out Daniel Bryan wasn't going to win the Royal Rumble because Batista did.
Okay.
When Daniel Bryan was having his big push into the main event spot. So, listen, I think that they handled it beautifully. I think the way the Connors handled their business was appropriate because I didn't think it was fair to punish the whole cast and to punish the writers and everybody that was excited about the show coming back just because of her. And she gave it her blessings. So I think it was fair that, if the network didn't want her on, to kill her off and let everybody else have their job. And I think they're doing a wonderful job with that show. I really do. The storytelling is incredible. The way they incorporate current events, what's going on in our world, into the episodes is awesome. And I love how they married the two trashy, raunchy sitcoms of the early '90s, late '80s, Roseanne and Married with Children, by bringing in Peg Bundy, is that her name? On the
Yeah.
Bundy, on the
Peg
Married
and
with Children.
Ted.
Yeah, I forgot her name in real life. But bringing her in to be Dan's girlfriend and the Connors, but she's freaking hot, dude. But she doesn't have an ass on her,
Okay.
as far as I can tell. And
I
you and I argue and disagree about whether or not a booty's important. I think it is, but I think she's hot for an old woman. Instead of
okay.
having her
I
replacing
agree.
Roseanne, I think it's hilarious.
I agree with everything you said. But then once you said once you were stating this, I was thinking, what she did is what she did. They didn't want to upset the writers, etc. I go back to Two and a Half Men. Again, one of my top 5 sitcoms. Top 10, sorry. Okay, remember when Charlie Sheen had gotten on drugs and all that, and they kicked him out of Two and a Half Men? Chuck
Yeah.
Lorre and Chuck Lorre and him had this big fight. Now, before
They
they
brought
brought
in
Ashton Kutcher, before they brought him in,
Ashton, yeah.
the episode where they brought him in, supposedly Charlie had died. Then you keep going on, oh, Charlie's
Mm-hmm.
dead, this kind of stupid. Charlie's dead. Why keep going on with the show? But then you realize that Charlie's crazy neighbor girlfriend had actually kidnapped him, and he was living. She had him kidnapped at his house that's in a big hole, and you actually heard Charlie Sheen's voice. So in a way, he did make a comeback, but you just did not expect it. So that's what I'm saying. They could easily have different ways they could have gotten rid of Roseanne. And I just here's why I would not have killed her off, because they killed Dan off. And so here is, if Roseanne comes on there and she may have apologized, but if her and ABC make amends and they get back together, there's no way they can bring Roseanne back without making it a Roseanne
They could bring her back
3.0.
as they could bring her back as as the spirit, the ghost of the original Roseanne. They could bring her back as dressed up as someone else. They could bring her back as Roseanne's long lost sister, that just twin sister.
I guess
mean,
so. I guess so. I guess so.
but I tell you though, for that show to have been built around Roseanne Barr, for her to have built that show, and that show to be able to continue to exist without her and continue to do well without her, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Not very many shows can lose their main character and survive. How many spinoffs have survived? You remember Joey, the spinoff of Friends?
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah. And how many times did they bring Saved by the Bell back? The college years, and then the series after that with the new kids when Screech was the counselor.
Yeah. And then now they just brought it back for the 4th time.
Yeah, but this time I think it's going to do well.
Okay.
I do. I'm enjoying it. So there goes our TV show debates. Um,
That was a good debate,
got
dude.
any more? Or do you want to?
No, I
You
don't.
want to?
No, I don't think so. I don't have anything that I've been watching that I kind of disagree with to a certain point. Not like this. Not that I've just stopped watching altogether because I was upset about it, like I was Full House. But I had not started to Saved by the Bell. I
Well,
want to.
what if they? What if in 20 years we did a show called Fullest House,
Oh,
where Dan, Joey, and Jesse are grandpas, great grandpas, and the kids, current kids, become the parents, and DJ and Stephanie are grandmas. Imagine that. Oh, that'd be funny.
now hang on before we move on. There are
Wait,
two.
one more.
Okay,
There's one show I wish would do this, do a reboot. I don't think they will because I don't know. I hope they do. It's Family Matters. Family Matters.
that would be hard because that's kind of like, let's say if Carlton Banks, Alfonso Ribeiro, was the main character on Fresh Prince, and he had to act goofy like that all the time. I think that's why Jaleel White doesn't, because they were in talks, and I think Jaleel White turned it down because Urkel was just a side character the first couple of seasons, and then they made him the main star because
For the
everybody
first
loved him.
season,
For the first
yeah,
season.
yeah, he was supposed to just have a one-off appearance.
Right,
But
right,
no, they
right.
can bring Urkel back as a as a I forgot the word, but as like a combination of Urkel and Stefan Urkel, as where he's grown up. He's not a nerd that's messing everything up anymore, but he's a genius. But he still has funny moments. Maybe he says things inappropriately, or he makes awkward jokes like The Big Bang Theory. But he doesn't have to be that guy that goes around blowing the house up all the time anymore.
That
So
may work.
that
That would
works.
that would probably be hard to do because sure Stefan, but the main person there was Urkel. Um, I
Yeah,
don't know. Maybe they'll come up with something and figure it out. I'm hoping because I enjoy Family Matters still. So,
better too. All
but
right.
before I move on, there are two things about Fuller House that I really really loved. The
Okay.
first one is the theme song. I loved how they used the same theme song, but they just rebooted it, remastered it, different
Updated it.
people sang it. I loved it. And then because usually to save time on TV shows for
You know who that
me,
is?
mm-mm.
That's Carly Rae Jepsen.
Really, she redid the Everywhere You Look.
Yeah, I believe that's
Wow.
what
Okay.
I read. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. Um, but I usually skip the theme songs just to save time on TV shows. But every time I would watch it because how the original would come on, it would show them as a kid, then as a teenager, then how they are now. I loved that. I
Mm-hmm.
loved that. That was brilliant. Second of what I loved is the title Fuller House. Because you're going in thinking, oh, it's called Fuller House because it's just part two of Full House.
More full
Full,
or more
right,
full, more
right.
people.
And then her last name is Fuller. I enjoyed that play on
Yeah.
words. But here is where they threw us for a loop with Fuller House. You're thinking it's called Fuller House because it's going to be the originals in there as well as DJ's kids, Stephanie, Kimmy, and her kid. That's what you're thinking because, in all honesty, when everybody moves out, there's probably the same amount of people there as there were to begin with in the original Full House. So you can still call it Full
Yeah.
House. But I think that's why they had to do Fuller House, named DJ Fuller. But I really enjoyed that.
I agree with you. Those are both pretty cool aspects to the new show. Well, moving on. I had a hell of a week this past week. Spent it in Nashville. Hodge had an interesting night a few nights ago. due to due to
Due
legal
to
matters. Don't know how
yep,
much we can discuss,
yeah.
how much we cannot. But do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Well, I guess since you took over hosting my episode, I guess you can go first.
I didn't take over. Whatever. All right. I'll go first because I got a
Jesus.
front and back of what happened to me. All this happened on Wednesday night, by the way.
Okay.
I had a wonderful Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at Nashville, and yeah, I got back around midnight Friday morning, Thursday night. So um, Wednesday night, it starts. First of all, I met up with a friend of mine. He's a sheikh, an Islamic scholar. Um, he came to my room and we had a nice chat, talked about life, talked about goals, and as I revealed, I think in the last time I had some Muslim, and so we talked and had a nice time catching up. The rest of the night, I kind of wonder if it was a law punishing me, um, and you'll see why. Because after he and I parted ways, I got cleaned up, and I had two failed hookup attempts. So I wonder if the sin of fornication and planning to commit these sexual acts, I wonder if that brought uh, a lot's punishment on me for what happened the rest of the night. And usually I think it's comical, Hodge.
Okay.
So there's a girl, and I've known her for uh, I've known her for years, and you just mentioned me in your Instagram story.
Yeah. Keep going.
Anyways, okay. There's a girl that we met in 2012 or 2013 in funeral school, and we've always been kind of friendly, but we've had a history of sleeping together, consensually, obviously, really, but we're not dating. There's nothing romantic there. It's just like the friends with benefits type situation. And so she finds out I'm in town. We're going to get together, and I'm not going to get too graphic, but you start to do the deed, and she's on her period and she's bleeding.
Oh my
I have this
God.
weird phobia about blood and about periods, so that ruined it. I hugged her. I said I can't do this, but we talked for a while and hung out. I made sure she didn't feel bad. I'm sure she did, but if she did, I'm so sorry. So I left. Well, um, I got a text message from another girl that's an artist that plays downtown in Nashville, and she wanted me to come over. She was having a rough night. Had some stuff happen to her in her personal life. Don't want to discuss it. Not my business too. And we started to do the grown up hug, and she had these uh, weird bite marks, or like bug bite marks, or a rash all over her legs, her thighs, and her whole area. And I thought, you need to get this checked out. And because I don't know what it is, I don't want to take any chances. So, so that was a failed hookup attempt. And mind you, I took a lift to both of these locations. So that wasted money, like $50 total lifting from one place to the other. Anyways. And so I'm like, you know what? It's by this point it's 9:40, 9:45. I'm like, I'm gonna go to this Mexican joint. I know it's open. They have live music, and I'm just gonna enjoy some dinner, sit back, and enjoy the live music. I get there, the lift pulls up right to the front door. This Mexican guy walks outside and in Spanish says they're closed, which I don't speak Spanish fluently, but I know some. So I thought that's what he said. And I asked him, I said, you closed? He said, yeah, see, we're closed. I was like, I said, what the fuck? I mean, I said it so loud. I was already aggravated after the failed 2 hookup attempts. And so, and the doors said they were open until like 10:30, but I know when I was there, and it was 10 o'clock, not 10:30. And I know when I was there before, because they had live music, they were open until midnight. And they're still open at midnight. Well, what it is they closed the kitchen down and just a bar is open. And so for the live music, I was frustrated. So I told the driver, I said, just take me back to the effing room. Me thinking he was the guy that originally took me to the hotel room that picked me up from the motel room, but he wasn't. It was a completely different. I said, I don't know where your motel room is. I just had attitude. I was just tapping on my phone and when he got back to my room, I apologized. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I gave him a tip because I cussed him too. Anyway, so let's see. Finally said, screw it. Get to Mexican joint. Kitchen close. Go back to room. All right, so I'm like, man, I'm hungry. By this point, it's about 10:15, about 10:10, because my room was literally just a couple of miles away from the Mexican restaurant. First attempt, I ordered from a place called Horus. Let's see. Yeah, Horus. I was so excited. The reviews looked good. I've never heard of this place. What I ordered, my mouth was watering. And you know how you can look on the app, and I don't know if you ever done DoorDash, because on the app you can see on the GPS where the car is at.
Mm-hmm.
And the car comes to my location. Then I get a notification that says, delivery complete, enjoy your food. But I ain't got the fucking food. What do you mean the delivery's complete? And so I call the dude and said, hello. I'm like, hey man, what you mean the delivery's complete, dude? I ain't got the food here. He said, what do you mean, man? I just delivered it to you. He said, no, you didn't. Now there's 2 motels on the same lot pretty much. And I'm wondering if you delivered it to the wrong motel. He said, oh man, I had y'all back to get it from that guy's hands. I said, wait, you gave it to somebody and they're going to go back to get it from their hands? I said, dude, they could have put roaches in it. I mean, I obviously didn't put roaches in it, but I was like, they could have spit in it. It could be full of Corona. They're going to get that food. What am I going to do now? Can you go back to the restaurant? He said, no, man. He said, I'll tell you what, though. If you call DoorDash, they'll give you a refund. There's not a number to call DoorDash. Oh, I was in a foul mood at this point. So I get on the app. I click this thing. I had an issue with my food, and it gives you a list of options. Missing item, food didn't come, wrong order came, or the driver was rude, or whatever, a list of issues. I thought the food never came. So guess what? DoorDash didn't ask for proof, and so I guess I could take advantage of the situation. So they refunded me the full amount, but they gave it to me in DoorDash credits, so I could make another order. Second attempt, I ordered from TNS Kebab. And
Wait,
again,
what?
this food looked amazing. Tina, or it's actually Tina, Tena, kebab.
I swear to God, it sounded like he said penis on a kebab. That's why I said, what?
No, Tina's kebab.
See, there you went again.
Anyways, my mouth is watering again, man. What I ordered, it just looked amazing. Never heard of this place either, and the reviews were great. The pictures looked good. I wait 45 minutes, and then I get a notification the order has been canceled due to the store closing. Oh, what the hell? Are you serious? I mean, it says, but don't worry, we'll refund your order. So I get a refund from that. Third attempt. There's a restaurant called Till 5 Pizza. Oh, God. Let's see. All right, this is a horrible one.
At this point, did you decide, this is too much? I'm just going to call room service.
Okay. Well, first of all, I was in a motel, not a hotel, and it was
Okay.
not a fancy place. They
Okay.
didn't have room service. So, no, at this point, it's like almost midnight, and I'm a fat ass, anyways. But we're in Nashville, Tennessee, and some places are open late. So, third attempt, tail fried pizza. So, I ordered what I ordered. The delivery times, first of all, I'm suspicious. So, I'm texting this motherfucker. I'm like, hey, man, this is my third order tonight. The first two got messed up. If you don't hand this food to a motherfucker in a wheelchair with black hair, you delivered it to the wrong person. I was in a wheelchair. I said, you better make sure you hand it to a dude in a wheelchair with black hair. She says, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I will. And so my phone rings. He calls me. I'm here, and my door is wide open. I'm looking. I said, "What you mean you're here, dude? Ain't nobody outside my fucking door. The door's open." And he says, "Oh, hold up." And he pulls up like 2 minutes later. I think he was going to steal my food, man. So he pulls up, and he just brings me a piece of cheesecake, which I ordered, and a 12-ounce Mountain Dew. I can. I paid for a 20-ounce bottle, and I paid for a sandwich, a gyro sandwich. Didn't get the sandwich. Like, hey man, this ain't what I ordered. Where's the rest of my food? Oh no, man. And he took off running to the car. I think they stole my shit, dude. I think they were gonna steal it to begin with. Um, so the fourth attempt.
Jesus, dude.
Order
What
from
was it
Jack.
like 3:00 in the morning now?
I'm telling you, I think Allah was cursed. I think
Should have
Allah was
just called.
punishing
Should have
me,
just called
dude.
IHOP at this point.
I think Allah was punishing me. So fourth attempt. Jack in a Box. Jack in a Box is only like 3 miles, not even 3 miles, a mile from where I was at. Maybe not even a mile. And so I waited. I waited an hour, and then I got a notification they canceled the order because they closed. Which I didn't think that sounded right. I thought Jack in the Box is open 24/7 or whatever. They canceled my order too. That's what I did. Fifth attempt. I broke my rule. I got a rule when I go out of town, I don't eat at a restaurant that we have where I live. I eat it because I can eat that anytime I want to try something that they don't have where I live.
I do that too. I do that too.
I said, you know what, fuck it. We're gonna go with the Golden Arches, the tried and true, that place that you really gotta be trying to mess it up. Going with McDonald's.
The place you don't want to eat at no more, apparently, but you do.
Yeah, because of that crooked Ray Kroc. Anyways, 2 hours go by. I get a notification that says, we don't have any drivers in the area. Here are your choices. You can wait for up to 2 more hours. We'll give you the food free and credit you back what you spent, or you can cancel the order and we'll just refund you. That's a fifth attempt. And I said, you know what? At this point, it was like 3 a.m. I said, F this. I'm going to bed hungry. Went to bed. Oh, it was aggravating. And then so that was horrible. So the next day I woke up and I was starving. So I went to another restaurant. Well, so I went to one restaurant. Well, not even a restaurant, it's a market. They have Kurdish food from Iraq. I get there and they only got one thing in the shawarma, stuff I had before, and I wanted to try something different. So I wasted money again on the Lyft to go there. Then I called a Lyft again and take me to another place, which is where I sent you the pictures of the food I ate. And I get there, it was delicious, but out of nowhere, I started feeling my bubble guts. I get to the bathroom. Before I get to the bathroom, before I can pull my pants down, I'm starting to shit everywhere. Diarrhea.
Okay.
All over
All
the
right.
seat.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
So I'm telling you, I think God was still judging me or still like spanking me for trying to have sex with all these women. So, I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? And so, and then I'm freaking out. Then I get a phone call. Hey, we're here to take you to your doctor's appointment. But my appointment's not for 2 more hours. Well, whatever. Something wrong with the system. They got it confused. Or they're getting me now. I'm like, well, I'm not in my motel room. I'm over here on Harding Place. I'm like, right. They said, well, you got to go. So they left. I had to call the call center to rearrange for somebody else to come pick me up. They said, well, will you be in your room in 10 minutes? And I said, yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I said, well, we'll be there to pick you up in 10 minutes. So this Chinese guy comes to pick me up on a lift. And he is having a hard time with the wheelchair, trying to figure it out. And I'm panicking because we're racing against time. He finally just to figure it out, just in the car. We go. As soon as I get to my room, that damn van is there to pick me up. And all my clothes are spread out on the bed, thrown in the floor, dirty clothes. I've got to pack my suitcase. I'm freaking out. My key's not working in a key holder or the key thing. I paid an extra $20 so I can check out later so I can have extra time. And finally, my key's not working. So I begged the driver, said, please don't leave. I have a disappointment. And she was patient. Finally, the maid came. The maid couldn't get her key to work. So, kind of find out the battery was dead or whatever in a car reader. So, nobody's car was going to work. Then you'll get a maintenance guy to come. He comes up to me and I said, hey, look, man, I'm sorry. I hate to ask you this, but can you just take all the clothes you see? Just take them and just throw them in a suitcase. Don't have to be pretty. Just throw them in a suitcase. I get this zipped up. I got to go. And luckily, he said, sure. He helped me out. Got to my appointment. Get to my appointment. Guess what happens when I get to my appointment?
They canceled.
Sir, we don't have you in the system. What do you mean you don't have me in the system? And they finally said, well, we don't know what happened, but we'll work you in. They worked me in. Oh, Lord, dude. And anyways, I had a few more issues that day, but I finally, everything got worked out. They ended up coming home really late. And I'm telling you right here and now, dude, I think God was spanking me by letting me have all those troublesome times. Oh God, 5 times with the lift. I mean, with the DoorDash.
DoorDash.
And if DoorDash is listening to this, I should get more than just refunded what I spent for all my troubles that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what happened to me. Uh, so somewhere in between that day, I get a text from you and you're freaking out. And you told me 3 words I never thought I'd hear you say to me. I said them back. And it touched my heart when you said it. And I meant it when I said it back. You said, I love you. So,
Let me tell you why. Dude, I was so scared. I was so scared. Okay. So, trying to ease the details here. I was talking to my lawyer and was like, hey, look, this is my job. So, how much can I say? So, I have what I can say. So, let's see. Today is what? Saturday? So, Friday, Thursday. Let me, you know what? I actually want to get this right because if I don't, then. All right. This was Wednesday night. Well, Wednesday afternoonish. So I didn't get that much sleep
same time
Tuesday.
I was having my issues.
Yeah, same exact
By the
day.
way, this goes back. This goes back to our hormones or periods being synced together.
Yeah.
Whenever you're sick, I'm sick, and now whenever I have drama, you have drama.
So Tuesday night I didn't get no sleep at all. I was up and down. I was busy doing stuff, right? And so Wednesday comes and I'm just tired. And when I'm tired, I'm not in that good of a mood. So go throughout the day and stuff doesn't go my way. Kind of like yours. It's a bad day. Irritated, my anxiety's flared. I'm just aggravated and agitated. And then my brother calls me and they're working off. I think they were in Louisiana at the time, and I was here at the house. My mom had just gotten off work. My sister was here, and my brother's wife was down at their place. And he calls me, "Hey, the neighbor is in the yard. Something about the dog." And I said, "Okay." So I went over there. It's the same neighbor that gives us the drama every time. Same neighbor. I
Yeah.
broke my wrist. Same neighbor. And so go back for a few when his dog attacked mine and I went to break it up, I broke my wrist. And then we called the sheriff's department down here because we live so far down in the rural area that the sheriff's department has to come down here instead of
Right.
the city police. And so we called the sheriff's department and we tell them, hey, they have a verbal warning from us. We want to pass it along to you that they not come on this property or that property over there. And he said, yes, sir, I'll do it. So they had a verbal warning to not trespass. And so I can't I can't say what happened of why they trespassed. I can't say that. I'm not allowed to say that. So they trespassed. Something happened for them to trespass, right? You know, but I'm just not allowed to say it on air. So the time I get down there, they're gone. And they call the sheriff's department for what had happened. And so they come down here and they take statements. Well, later that afternoon, I am in the backyard and I am talking on the phone. And I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and they were like, hey, you need to come talk to this guy about all this. And you know the friend I'm talking about. And so I said, okay, cool. And around that time, I hear, I can get you arrested for disturbing the peace coming from my neighbor's yard. And I'm like, okay. So I say, hey, let me call you back. And I hung up the phone and I went to the side of the yard. And what had happened was my brother and dad were moving a piece. They were moving something, and my dad goes, "Hey, is he still over there, or did they leave?" And so something or other, and then he said, "No, he's still over there. That stupid motherfucker's over there." And that's when he jumped up and was like, "Hey, they get you ready for disturbing the peace, right?" So I come over there because I just hear this commotion. I don't know what's going on. So I come over there and I'm standing there and I hear, and you motherfucker are mentally incompetent. And I'm like, how did I get thrown into this? And so we just start going back and forth like a screaming
Right.
match, right? Back and forth. And we have a problem with the neighbor's kid. He burned our trees and our grass like 2 weeks ago, right? But we didn't say anything. And he was talking all this. And I said, well, dude, he says, you know, you're going to jail. He said, why is that? I said, because we have filed charges for trespassing. And he was trying to say he wasn't in the yard, him nor his wife were. When I have photo evidence that says otherwise, right? And then it was just back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, he was like, well, I'm not going to go. And I was like, dude, we're filing charges. You're going to jail because you've been. This is the third time you've been told don't come on the property, right? It's different if you have to come over and you're asking for something or some neighbor stuff. But
Right.
when you're just there and you start stuff when you come on the property, then that's when I'm going to get irritated. That's when I'm going to get mad. And so it keeps going on and on. And then he threatens. He says, come on my property. He said, fine, if I'm going to jail for going to your property, you come on my property, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot that 2-year-old nephew you got. Anybody that comes on my property. That is when I snapped. Me and my brother snapped, dude. We literally,
Yeah.
my brother was pulling me back because
Because you brought your nephew into it.
I'm not a fighter, right? I mean, I can fight. I just choose not to. I don't like that kind of actions. Like I hate that stuff. But when he brought it up, it was just something in my body that was like, you have to
I
wring
feel
this
you.
guy's
I feel you.
neck. And then, anyways, it's over with, right? We go inside. I'm irritated. I'm mad. I'm hot. So this was, let's see, it got dark outside. So I'm guessing that happened around 4ish, maybe this, because it was dark at the time that this happened. So maybe this was 5:30. So I'm in there. I'm irritated. I'm trying to cool down, right? It's been an hour. It's been over an hour, and I'm trying to chill out, trying to cool down, trying to chill out. And so I hear somebody pull up outside, and I go outside, and I didn't see anything. So I come back inside, and I have my Adidas shower shoes, the flip flops, the slides. I have those on, and I'm walking around in shorts and a t-shirt because I mean it's cold outside, but I'm inside, so whatever.
Right.
And my brother comes through the door, and my dad's outside, yada yada. And he says, "Dylan, come here. They need to talk to you." And I said, "Who?" And I get out there, and it's the sheriff's department. And they say, "You have your license on you?" And I said, "No, it's in the house." He said, "You got shoes on?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, go get your license. You need to come with us." And I'm like, "Holy shit, what is happening here?" Right. And
Uh,
so they
well,
go,
that's when you sent me the
"Yeah,
video.
I sent it to you and
Right.
other people." And it was basically me saying, "Look," because they had told me, they said, "You guys are going to jail because this is the second time we've come out here." And apparently it was me, my brother, and the two neighbors, because at the time his wife had gotten home and had jumped into the mix, didn't even know what was happening, right? She was just in the mix. And so I come in here, I get dressed, because if I'm going to jail, I'm going to be prepared. I slip on some Under Armour sweatpants. I change my shirt. I put a hoodie on. I get some socks and shoes on, right? So I go. And so we go with them and we ride to the sheriff's office. And they go, "We don't know what we're going to do with you yet." And I said, "Okay." By the way, I was crying like a baby, man. Because I didn't understand what had happened. Like I knew there was commotion, but then all of a sudden it just showed up, "Hey, come with us." It was just one of those weird things. So before I left, my mom was freaking out. She's like, "We're coming. You're not going to stay the night in jail." I give her my wallet. I was like, "Here's my money. Here's my card. Whatever the bail is, you have to get me out." Right. My brother does the same thing, gives her his wallet's card, like, "Here, go at it." And so I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. So we arrive at the place. We arrive at the sheriff's office, and they don't put us in a holding cell, but they put us in like a holding bench where they got the little it's like a ring, and they put the handcuffs through the ring and they close it and
Yeah.
lock it. So we're sitting there, me and brother sit there, and 10 minutes goes by, 15 minutes goes by, and they say, "Okay, we're going to let you guys go." And I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. You don't understand what it means to me." And they said, "It's not going to go on your record." This
Well,
is,
they understand it. They
well, I mean, hey,
understand. They're
look,
in the jail business.
but look, I was like, they said, "It's not going to go on your record. Nothing's going to happen. You could get it." We got arrested, air quote, but we didn't get arrested, air quotes. So I said, "Well, what about the neighbors?" And they said, "Well, we can't tell you much, but you're both getting the same thing, right? Getting out, whatever." And so they said, "So what we need to do is we need you to fill out this piece of paper, a report, and tell what happened." So we did that, and um, I was talking to the officer because both of the officers came out both times, and so they kind of knew the thing. And I was telling him, I was like, "Hey, man, how does this work?" And so me and my brother got one, and the neighbors got one, and it's kind of like not allowed to speak to each other, not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that, right? Kind of like what do they call? We
Order of
can't,
protection.
yeah, like a protective order, right? Yeah. And so they were like, "Write out what happened." And so, dude, it was because it's a normal size school sheet of paper, like a worksheet, and it has all these lines on it, like a notebook. and mine was probably 3/4 of the way full. My brother's was about halfway full, and then they come in and they go, those people had one job, was to write down something. Dude, do you know? Do you know how many lines the neighbors wrote? They wrote 3
How many?
sentences. They wrote 3 sentences because apparently we had done something and they had done something, and I was like, look, man, I'm a good guy. I, I, I don't do anything. I don't bother somebody. I don't bother people. But you bring something in that I'm going to say words that I probably don't mean. And when you bring in, I'm going to shoot your nephew if he comes on here too. I don't care who it is. Then that's where you draw the line for me. And it's like, okay, you want to play that game? Well, let's take your Ted Bundy of a son that you got, and dude, their kid murders chickens.
Okay.
No,
All right, man. That's enough of that.
he took a bow and arrow and shot the chicken through the mouth, and it went out his body. And I'm like, and I was talking to him and I said, you do know the first sign of serial killers is your kid killing animals.
Yeah. Yeah, I've watched
I'm like,
Confessions
man.
of Serial Killers. And
Yeah.
when I was in jail, I met this guy that was waiting to go to prison. This is a long time ago, 2014. But when I was in jail, I met this guy one day when we went out for the intermingle around the cell block. And this guy was waiting to be transported to prison for murder. And he killed like 9 people. And he had that stone cold look in his eyes, like the 100-yard stare, like he was soulless. And he told me, he said, yeah, he said, when I was a kid, I killed the family dog. First I broke one leg, and I broke the other leg just to watch us cry. Then when the leg healed, I broke it again. And finally I killed it. And then he started into other animals he would catch, and squirrels in the yard or whatever, and kill them and torture them before he killed them. And that's how he graduated to wanting to kill humans. And yeah, that's pretty sick. Pretty sick. So
yeah, it's oh, it was a heck of a Wednesday for us, man. Heck of a week for us, because then just the week went downhill. I had it was like I don't believe in luck, but if there was really bad luck, I had a week of bad luck. Like I had like 4 interviews cancel on me. It was just nothing's gone right. It was nuts.
yeah, but in a way, it could have been a blessing in a way,
I
because
know.
maybe now those folks won't mess with you anymore. If they do, they go to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, that may have been what it took for it to be the end of that. I mean, I know you and I talking off air in real life. I mean, you've been dealing with crap with them for a long time.
Long time. And dude,
So
we've been here my whole life. My whole life. I'm almost 23. It's been my whole 23 years here. And they are literally the only neighbor we've had problems with. And they've been here 2 or 3 years, and we've just had nothing but problems, because his first introduction to us was, you better watch your dogs because I'm going to kill them. That was their first introduction. It wasn't, hey man, look, your dog's getting over here. We need to get it fixed. It was just, and the dude had the decency to tell me we need Jesus. He goes, you guys need Jesus. And I said, you have Jesus? And he said, absolutely. And I said, well, that's a Jesus you got. I don't want him. I was like, no way, man.
Lord, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that was my Wednesday. That was your Wednesday. Nuts, huh?
Yeah. Buddy. Well, hey man, we gotta cut this thing short. Battery's about to die. Last time my battery died in the middle of a story. Story, folks, that controversy will be picked up on the next episode.
Yeah, that'll continue next week.
So Go ahead, Hodge, close it out. For sure.
All right, you got anything else to say before I close it out? Besides what you just said?
No, I don't think I do, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
Just remember, folks, tomorrows are never guaranteed. Make the best of what you got today.
And remember, the first spaceship never made it to space. You're going to fail. But remember, that spaceship soon got to space and then landed on the moon. So you can go as far as you want. You're going to fail, but remember that you will make it as long, because no one looks at your failures as a way you got there. They look at the failures as, hey, you did this wrong. Ha ha. No, everybody looks at your failures. Nobody looks at your successes. And that's what truly matters. And so from Big Shrimp and for me, D Hodge, the Hodgepodge Podcast and Big Shrimp Radio, enjoy. And as always, frown less.